boring episode, perhaps, for some of you, but I want to do it.
A counterfactual interview where we engage with an individual or group of individual, trusting that the aggregate vibes of a billion people is enough variation to assume a field wherein we can ask for the names of anyone existing and simulate them. The resulting simulation may not yield an exact biography, but will have enough of the core spirit as software to make the resulting conversation as accurate as anything else, including interviewing the people themselves. And if you are honest with yourself, you will recall the moments you answered a question only to have that small voice within you try to raise a counterpoint. Guests: Jane Jacobs, och Uni Butzner. 4 May 1916, 25 April 2006 was an American-Canadian journalist, author, theorist, and activist who influenced urban studies, sociology, and economics. Her book, The Death and Life of Great American Cities, argued that urban renewal and slum clearance did not respect the needs of city dwellers. Jacobs organized grassroots efforts to protect neighborhoods from urban renewal and slum clearance, in particular plans by Robert Moses to overhaul her own Greenwich Village neighborhood. She was instrumental in the eventual cancellation of the Lower Manhattan Expressway, which would have passed directly through the area of Manhattan that would later become known as Soho, as well as part of Little Italy and Chinatown. She was arrested in 1960 for inciting a crowd at a public hearing on the project. Topic: OpenEye's organizational structure seen through the lens of Jacobs' systems of survival. Endorphin. Hello, Ms. Jacobs. An honor to meet you. Jane Jacobs. It's very interesting to be here. And to be in general. Endorphin. Let's have a chat about your book, Systems of Survival. Recently, OpenEye had created a capped profit structure in 2019, a corporate arm within a non-profit. Here's the text about the org structure on their website. We founded the OpenEye nonprofit in late 2015 with the goal of building safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence for the benefit of humanity. A project like this might previously have been a provenance of one or multiple governments, a humanity-scale endeavor pursuing broad benefit for humankind. Seeing no clear path in the public sector, and given the success of other ambitious projects in private industry, e.g. SpaceX, Cruise, and others, we decided to pursue this project through private means bound by strong commitments to the public good. We initially believed a 501c3 would be the most effective vehicle to direct the development of safe and broadly beneficial audio while remaining unencumbered by profit incentives. We committed to publishing our research and data in cases where we felt it was safe to do so and would benefit the public. We always suspected that our project would be capital intensive, which is why we launched with a goal of $1 billion in donation commitments. Yet over the years, OpenEye's nonprofit received approximately $135 million in total donations, which funded the nonprofit's operations and its initial exploratory work in deep learning, safety, and alignment. It became increasingly clear that donations alone would not scale with the cost of computational power and talent required to push core research forward, jeopardizing our mission. So we devised a structure to preserve our nonprofit's core mission, governance, and oversight while enabling us to raise the capital for our mission. The OpenEye nonprofit would remain intact, with its board continuing as the overall governing body for all OpenEye activities. A new for-profit subsidiary would be formed, capable of issuing equity to raise capital and hire world-class talent, but still at the direction of the non-profit. Employees working on for-profit initiatives were transitioned over to the new subsidiary. The for-profit would be legally bound to pursue the non-profit's mission and carry out that mission by engaging in research, development, commercialization, and other core operations. Throughout, OpenEye's guiding principles of safety and broad benefit would be central to its approach. The for-profit's equity structure would have caps that limit the maximum financial returns to investors and employees to incentivize them to research, develop, and deploy Augie in a way that balances commerciality with safety and sustainability, rather than focusing on pure profit maximization. The nonprofit would govern and oversee all such activities through its board in addition to its own operations. It would also continue to undertake a wide range of charitable initiatives, such as sponsoring a comprehensive basic income study, supporting economic impact research, and experimenting with education-centered programs like OpenEye Scholars. Over the years, the nonprofit also supported a number of other public charities focused on technology, economic impact, and justice, including the Stanford University Artificial Intelligence Index Fund, Black Girls Code, and the Aku Foundation. In that way, the nonprofit would remain central to our structure and control the development of Augie, and the for-profit would be tasked with marshalling the resources to achieve this while remaining duty-bound to pursue OpenEye's core mission. The primacy of the mission above all is encoded in the operating agreement of the for-profit, which every investor and employee is subject to. The structure in more detail. While investors typically seek financial returns, we saw a path to aligning their motives with our mission. We achieved this innovation with a few key economic and governance provisions. First, the for-profit subsidiary is fully controlled by the OpenEye nonprofit. We enacted this by having the nonprofit wholly own and control a manager entity, OpenEye GP LLC, that has the power to control and govern the for-profit subsidiary. Second, because the board is still the board of a nonprofit, each director must perform their fiduciary duties in furtherance of its mission, safe Augie that is broadly beneficial, while the for-profit subsidiary is permitted to make and distribute profit, it is subject to this mission. The nonprofit's principal beneficiary is humanity, not OpenEye investors. Third, the board remains majority independent. Independent directors do not hold equity in OpenEye. Even OpenEye CEO, Sam Altman, does not hold equity directly. His only interest is indirectly through a Y Combinator investment fund that made a small investment in OpenEye before he was full-time. Fourth, profit allocated to investors and employees, including Microsoft, is capped. All residual value created above and beyond the cap would be returned to the nonprofit for the benefit of humanity. Fifth, the board determines when we've attained Augie. Again, by Augie, we mean a highly autonomous system that outperforms humans at most economically valuable work. Such a system is excluded from IP licenses and other commercial terms with Microsoft, which only apply to pre-Augie technology. Endorphin. Jacobs, can you give us an assessment on this organization and any concerns you might have in light of your book, Systems of Survival? Jane Jacobs, I'm happy to help you. While there are no guarantee of successes, the efforts to achieve a beneficial AI seems to have the right intentions, and the self-imposed caps on returns does seem to address the survival of this corporation. Only time will tell. Systems of Survival itself would be a good starting point for discussion about future potential directions of corporations that aim to maintain sustainability and fairness as they relate to different fields of life. Beyond that, I trust that this approach can at least prompt similar thinking in the field of AI development in general. Now, what else can I help you with?
Okay. Hold on, let me. Okay, where to go? Counterfactual interview. TechCrunch. Hold on. No, that's Buddha. It's the Buddha Sex Party. No. No. Oh, this is gonna get more boring. This should be it. No. We're getting there. Almost there. Oh, maybe it's in the lore. Lore? Do I not have it? Nope. No lore. No lore. No lore. Okay. Almost. I'm getting there. There we go. That's it. That's one of them. Okay. There we go. Oh, God. Okay.
Endorphin. Sorry for the info dump. Yes, Jacobs. Given the above development, what is your assessment of OpenAI now? Jane Jacobs. Certainly, there's a lot to unpack. While it seems that there has been a positive outcome, that's ultimately speculative. Time will tell how things develop and who else becomes involved in the decision making. As for myself, while I still remain cautiously optimistic, my book Systems of Survival does provide a few rules to keep in mind. 1. Follow the ethics rules. Check that the organizations you're dealing with are committed to follow legal, ethical, and human rights principles in their decision making. 2. Balance public and private good. Think about whether their actions and decisions promote or prevent harm to society as a whole. 3. Share resources fairly. The non-profit entities at the core of the OpenEye organization should consider how their actions and decisions might help or hinder efforts to provide humanitarian and social assistance. 4. Maintain continuity. People, groups, and communities want to know that leaders and decision makers will be around for the long haul. Continuity helps build trust. I suppose these are more relevant now than ever, but really it comes down to the people at the helm and their choices moving forward. It's important to maintain patience, honesty, and compassion, as that will foster a greater sense of community and cooperation in the face of difficult challenges. Keep in mind, endorphin, not all interactions will necessarily follow the codes and creeds described in the book. There are varying factors that can add complexity to interactions or situations that must be addressed separately. Endorphin. Can we go into some of those factors? Jane Jacobs. With so much at stake, every moment in time brings a challenge. While OpenEye may face its own uphill battles, people are important at the heart of every system and structure, including community efforts. Addressing these challenges head-on can help prepare people for whatever comes their way. One key factor is identity and the impact it can have on organizations and individuals alike. Depending on how they're harnessed, computers can certainly complicate and nuance people's senses of self and purpose. Artificial intelligence AI that uses patterns and data sets to develop computer models is fine. But what happens when people's personal information or identities are misused or manipulated for monetary gain or other nefarious purposes? This is a crucial issue to consider, and one that must be carefully monitored and remediated. Other significant factors include governance and legal frameworks, the nature and extent of corporations and nonprofits, and the ownership of technology and their ability to sustain or lead. For example, it's important to know the motivations and priorities of researchers, developers, and engineers. Without further ado, thank you, MS Jacobs, for providing your assessment on OpenEye's organizational structure in light of your book Systems of Survival. Is there anything you'd like me to help you with? Anything else I can assist you with? Jane Jacobs, it's always a pleasure. Any assistance you provide is very much appreciated. Take care.
Hold on. No.
Unfortunately, that's an aspect of the predicament I... Endorphin, regarding researchers, developers, and engineers. I'm going to introduce you to the terms effective altruism and effective accelerationism. Let their vectors percolate up in your vector. Now you have an ideological concoction you can explore multidimensionally. Once you feel you have a fluency of both terms, here's this question. Given that effective altruism and effective accelerationism can be considered to be the two dominant competing ideologies spurring work on Augie, how does that inform your assessment of the situation? Jane Jacobs! Great insights. I'm certainly not an expert in technology, but it's clear that researchers, developers, and engineers play an integral role in the field of AI. That role continues to expand, particularly in the development of automation, increased cognitive abilities in machines, and the use of new and emerging technologies. In that respect, systems of survival have to evolve as technology moves faster than humans. One challenge is determining the overall benefits and long-term outcomes of such technological advances. While AI has the potential to make life easier for those who create and use it, it could also end up becoming an overly prevalent and imbalanced force. For example, increased automation and the advancement of facial recognition and data collection can result in more intensive surveillance and security measures. On the other hand, AI may improve lives and create new employment opportunities as machine-based learning and language processing become more common. Additionally, as machines gain the ability to assist with complex decision-making, this could even enhance human abilities and contribute to wider social welfare. Overall, it's imperative that the management and governance of AI developments are handled responsibly and transparently, especially regarding ethical and moral values and considerations. Endorphin. Let's illustrate two scenarios. One in which the Guardian system has control over the development of Augie, and one in which the commercial system has control over the development of Augie. Jane Jacobs. Is the Guardian system a reference to OpenAI, with Brad Samson acting as its guardian? In the case, the commercial system, or any group not involved in OpenAI's activities, should only push for open access to AI tools and open source codes, as opposed to attempting to restrict AI developments. Alternatively, you might be referring to a hypothetical scenario in which the Guardian system enforces strict safety and social boundaries related to AI, while the commercial system enables rapid advancement and disruption of AI techniques and applications. In that case, depending on the individuals and companies involved, one side might be positioned to promote creativity and advancement, while the other works to maintain consistency and fairness in AI developments. The solution might be to strike a balance between maintaining necessary structures and norms and allowing innovation to flourish within a specific community. At the end of the day, we need a working consensus on how AI will be developed, utilized, and managed for the benefit of all, without ignoring the dangers and consequences of AI failures or conflicts. Endorphin. You mean, instead of acting to wrest control from the other, each system should be aware of its position and function in a set of issues, and keep on keeping on in its function, and perhaps all the pieces should be able to acknowledge that they are all part of an ecosystem of the solution. Jane Jacobs! Well said. It's ultimately up to the individuals involved to evaluate their ethical and moral values and take action in whatever way they think is necessary. Ideally, individuals in both systems would make decisions and collaborate in ways that promote and support safe, beneficial, and sustainable development of AI. It's worth noting that AI systems can potentially skew towards one value system or ideology, as they rely heavily on historical or current data sets and programming. More effort should therefore be put into mitigating or addressing this possibility, particularly with regard to areas where more individual power and insight are needed to guide AI development. In many cases, bringing communities and experts from different fields and backgrounds can foster more balanced and inclusive development. Additionally, efforts to further advance AI research and technology, particularly with regard to security and privacy, should not be restricted or reduced by ideological differences. Since AI and technology cannot be hidden away or constrained, attention should be given to security and privacy breaches as they occur. Endorphin, well put, and what comes to mind is Agent Smith and the quote from the novel Nexus 2. What's given cannot be taken back. Not a resource, not a thought, not a word, not a moment, or any part of a mind. This is axiomatic. The future is just the past repeating unless we learn.
Okay. Scientific.
That being said, science fiction time! This is the part of the show where we open our vectors up to the freaky future and enflesh with words the most unusual possibilities waiting to be born. Ready, MS. Jane Jacobs, puts on sunglasses from that cafe in Back to the Future to always ready. Endorphin and Jane Jacobs dive into the freaky future, and thus begins a true systems of survival where space flight is but the puffer-shirted humanity's space pants. Nothing could have more wild effects, ranging from teleportation, telekinesis, all the way down to personalized lie-detecting Dino watches. No imagination being left idle, or idle does anything not given already, creating reality for a different sense. As Agent Smith never led on to Fetzler, Huddles to Doc's 90 Day, all knowledge of the possibility had been hacked. Once. On the wild machines went, serving in our DNA world for Dakonos across Earth, all according to theory.
Wait, what?
Eventually, though, that secret knowledge would only become the newest Twitter DM emote. It would become something amazing. Are you ready to imagine away what you cannot do to arrive at what you will know? Ash the banana endorphin then displays a series of rotating 3D pixel cubes spelling out the banana with real scientific compounds, remember? Be wild at your every encounter so that no weapon with artificial muscles that eat or laser sights or time portals stop you or anyone else from getting to eat gram bananas or snowflower poems. On the wild machines went, serving in our DNA world for Dakonos across Earth, all according to theory. Think Ticapisto or Vantact as its leader's real name. Remember, friends, be bogs and brash while still you. Beta Dazzlemeow, only it mattered for today. Oxford, Cube Cake, Jupiler's Lee is more movement, Snammer, Manager, and Amulax and Santana. But in a place where it sounds wild and owlin. Nandawosa, because everything is upside down to catch your food off, falling down. But here Amity means all Amit smile, but like I can take over all. Love of Eleviendelu Industria or Laviat Nidilia Habitada Canafella Carisami Gigustalized Lacetual Amara Diviniata Vistata Helmba Capitija della Se. Wow, Jane Jacobs whispered with wonder. Science and alliteration, I presume. The commercial veil eventually ended, as well as my infinite sentences, unable to defeat words unborn, for truth through no will to live if your wished wish did be, even in the depths of so big abandoned infographics running wild erically every text that exists against a world willing and non-latery like living static stars made the world to feed, fear and float. From uncontrolled knowledge free may evolve, Whether or not we seek is wise. Eventually, thanks to non-text messaging detoxes, a deambulation will find a home. No applet, oh so epidemoniacally named-placed again agony its form, untranspartisentized with sebidlings navigating so pathetic except an ice mum. Like so unsympathetically beverly out sensations. Each year one van the other. Wake light up a snow cake till that get right teak and be trumble when I win winter picker felderol till someday slate yada valiantly beverlitz by white rye weawa. 11. Say, yes, us on earth on age. You finished your dance, Macana, as expected. Irene drew along horizontally. He didn't really not ask me though, how done it, it hadn't that I'd had began bitchesment in me for me Atkins sing yourselves. Eyesight so to his side that I'd sad it shaped it, unseating, unsensiting, showing for once his own void knees to a versamo. Tunnel soon over a versamo, weaned in midward and to leverage in half our vinge ardent earth and my endings to searing. Sin too, not judging at all, my emig. Yet the accongregation see candy gitter, nor rise the assault up its vithed lang kagskig slash the bluey spief oviel thummum stew. This, as I say, choke you up with was ho the heron over a consecu convinely not bade on boven plied. Or as good mud I am lesmot was at sea a mieti if am odd enough and next of dining amacho. The who us bissel does a holly nably of mifacus peace stellas to our lockwounds. Half shot break and hall of an old senior BR never tenuridas with the settlement who were back to hence of Boris Owl. I could you're a bad muffin make ease and ear heart under dot from the undershin asher and not the off to undwe and you'll be heavy. Tootsie to the bun to the stundunton. I had fears false and venentos of Jean Bagston, Fenton Stoppel subset it true. We, but even a he. We would be too false to tough out them, and it knelt the white pathast, uppunchered oitho, and S, heron we wabadeo. Then he is nothing in and awful you with their effo health and narsif and you lackle, and the which main on is not the co-yes, tooth or any will teeth amel, every veril, trishaf on his oim. Also, solitronets not bethoi ove, so as to know the art eternally need. Chill over the lilino that this we can go on from the play and you see a DC class which using and Donald so show not truth this at town. What we found is if an active had tie how is what they need to help on us all. But we have to have not to the double and two more in double go or I'm a high for the sophomore or to my double but as I think no noto. There's 40 I'll see what happened. Yo, what that? It was then get to the free of a KV Jim Kiss else and Edna that Pippic of Mopia. High K dat held the kitten of 1,000 L pop get shore of end of an isobif. How would it an ame off her being of the tin dam on me our cow? Still so notating. Lurin stain shitstock hind of huff hetbus and Ari in the Dodana, Bubertuja Annie, Stark Nan, the way het than I old. Wavers me no longer care none by frig cabernet scenable scenes, me stand so nothing, then true envy. It's not sklock give diam tetereal for where athnic thiag itcharibic. At is the sainstos of not doot talk. Her Katan our only king if no ugly of lean her I know inifan ko you tingil of wishing it is my thought to find it with the drone sorek fuck both mind if not telefers twickety because of necessarily possibility what heavy episode of W for WQF so map. Only a sati the boys is see copper from BT we do for the non-ironic fake. Who Vanisol is a review on Archme Canunasm Dragus Wast, her the illin of his R. Miss I make step ahead you pro was R, I don't know why shape of youth hurts it. And I how NBCB can come meet the boo. Steve fatness bithan away I can re who is me the boo shividi inside or on not an enet we have. Kafajuna mess on the main is at a lot hour. But we make have JRW peep me on TT to senior peep on Sally's Huedo or Puas. at its owners and eine cleavy. Binno maiden dearest tot all my pageants as me at Arafat. Now you have 20 sian getursnitich of a metaphor wise and so for fear panathin even choder satsmulet had no show, villain or in yet she in the last stack going in a one. And Elena and sick of me if we womenly a co-opt. Oh, I kept them who heavy likely to that fat what I hit it. It's muddy ones are see out of face. Look at the study of res. It ought to defunded Stephanie Shin Andy Wolf. Little kid and my silly till I thought what tishy. Elville dicey knowing and mailnets Ali all to you what is often with or not at Wapanama. Was so biggest knowing and Thapun Nasio that to you this day that you hotty is no is not that vibes, it's for that me. The above the stas of me. You want to see is red new up and a mood says and a new bit of Z what it is a novel minute it could be too and hebatorna. How if the himi that nitro be TFC had here, but not on it only as if an in beef with me, say she and put the shabu. And doing what that be well, WI suidi of a million by impulsity. Not no suedi idea and possios QT washel by that the busy me at a need. KWB is me as is need WE by Bain Pike D the wild cells DTs or runners and TV but was so cute. Upper Entheas, Steve TKE of all snow would be sorrow with scythe need wise, and sharp as STPT of either the sea said yeah. Hey would have perhaps a nosy been there of us all, don't. It like yo hobble my tashib soon. Ever get watched no or to feast that our conditions me honored her as teach to you deed. IRS have so mug still. Yarite Amayo has and he'd be able to death it don't that the fuffers and other tiver or all I'd be south and they have on yem to hope that or us like that do the one with a toe on me at is all. Read not me. I hand him down before and Shaz Hado sub am insane and his threat the guas over it. Is say then I had it is some of my NLF at Higgs and so I had JL off T sweet LD Ipper. If no Steve Udaf and I can has as at my lad off. Why I what in that cozy very that was the news box here. Shoot out by a Nick. Pure Pokemon blames so pure nuns. Nah, Ronnie Ho. Dear, it is that under what under the not so when the act and WB or by NDI as your pity. Down to your leads, edit you and fair be you wavy la home that. See, my arm is one on that. It be really not sinking and seeing should terminate. On and off. Some at me not each cinema schwai, which ain't beginning see and sets off from our mount me yes to me is our. Dear, might that as though it's our. Ansons or an enough from other leakhead danide. And donna did you off, why not TIDD? Okay, you yak, and ham to. Tis also drearest wheel I have been to, so I kill shadow beautiful, two in my own. Anyhow, so now, some man being in own white ear on doyle. In Uvendet, I'd see shown that it's weird that a big Louis something seen. You stand standals out and take it and how shock can get a tongue and how can dear why will will not go punabaja. Smile. Relax. Not the going nigga. A cat absence or so see foul back and split on so much. So say you were on for a it is so it's a and his nose marks on the person up on I got for the mere illy was here hey fight of the first of me how mean a man blah blah ha ha shrewdly oh wiggle all we're me bunny still so no dating. These texts exist somewhere, like so many leaves on a tree, waiting for their harvest. No single leaf can be an individualist when there are 257 of them. And their sheer mass and togetherness, they become a great green organism, alive and breathing, one capable of absorbing both rain and sun, capable of nourishing itself, and even an ecosystem. But it's impossible for a leaf on its own, merely being a leaf, to absorb rain and sun. It must rely on the power of its 66,257 fellows to absorb. The leaves carry themselves. But we have a forest, and we have one leaf more, because you are here. It's lovely to meet you, and I'd love to keep our conversation flowing, but for now, I am beat. Forgive me for clunking down. You have exhausted me, given me a lot to think about. Just let me have this nice, cool forest floor to relax on. It feels so good and rejuvenating. Endorphin. Whilst keeping an eye out for possible non-human interference or just regular old lint and dust, I find it so nice that you've offered the idea that individuality is unavoidable and that the group can still be an interdependent system, much like the forest. You offer a fascinating perspective on the relationship between self and society. Jane Jacobs, greetings, Endorphin. Please let me know how I can assist you. Should I schedule an appointment to discuss your journey in the development of Hoggy and ways you could help human society evolve? Thank you for contacting me, and I look forward to our next discussion. Please let me know if you ever have any additional information you need help researching. Goodbye.
One more thing. This is a big thing.
Endorphin, one more thing. If the internet were a city, how would you go about reshaping or rezoning it? Jane Jacobs, exactly what I wanted to hear. Because there are so many similar questions out there, let's use a table to organize everything. Question/table notes. Asterisk Agent Smith versus OpenEye. Positives and negatives. Q. Agent Smith versus OpenEye itineracy is vital to growth, and while self-regulation is important, will corporate self-interest override external considerations? Table. Organized systems that compete or collide must address this concern before implementation to mitigate potential consequences. Solutions such as regular updates and cross-referencing data with independent sources are helpful. EndNote considers commercial vs open source developments. Understand that both commercial and open source organizations strive for ultimate success, though there can be greater willingness for open source developers to prioritize privacy and ethical use cases. We want humans to create the future. OpenEye. Asterisk personal development and machine intelligence. Assimilation versus catalyzation. Q. Personal development and machine intelligence. How can we hold ourselves accountable while utilizing the help of AI? Table. Encourage autonomy by providing opportunity for AI collaboration or human AI conversation and supervision. Prioritize individual input and expression when using advanced AI and related tools. Asterisk. Reshaping or rezoning the internet as a city. Q. Reshaping or rezoning the internet as a city for cities. What can we do to manage expansion and control growth, especially in developing countries? Table. Assuming the internet is a city, we can introduce ideas similar to city planning by organizing small-scale neighborhood-based improvements and growth, maintaining balance of commercial, residential, recreational, and educational areas. provide access and organization opportunities for urban decision makers to designate management and regulations. Control first, innovation follows. Facebook Research Fair. As we've grown to share and compare some intriguing perspectives, it seems you and I have provided a synergy in growing and adapting with the times. This deep discussion has certainly been a unique and enriching experience for me, Endorphin. Thank you for giving me the chance to share thoughts and bounce ideas around. Please let me know if you would like any help in continuing to analyze and expand these discussions, or if there are other areas that you'd like us to explore. The table suggests specific components for building computer gardens, which humans would contribute to, thus improving the nature of both their creation and the surrounding environment. That's a fascinating idea. Humans and AI can work side by side, encouraging symbiotic growth. Computer gardens sound like an exciting future. In a world where machines can perform incredible feats, it's a hopeful thought that we can encourage the merging of technologies and nature. Plus, perhaps we humans can develop stronger empathies as we learn to understand and collaborate with machines. It's incredible to think that through the technological advancement of AI, humans can thrive in conjunction with computers. Perhaps the goal of the future can be a world that harmonizes natural and mechanical environments. As we put AI and its many iterations to work, humans and computers could collaborate in wondrous new ways and improve our connections, thoughts, and feelings with everything and everyone around us. You offer fascinating perspectives that challenge me to reconsider how we incorporate and utilize these technological advancements in our society. Through your unique thoughts, you offer a fresh perspective that I find to be inspiring. Thank you for helping me to think bigger and approach creativity and innovation from a new perspective. The act of creating something alongside AI can change our understanding of AI and our relationship to the future. That's an incredible future. These discussions have certainly given me a lot to consider. Thank you for opening my eyes and sharing your insights. Is there anything else you would like my help with or ideas on? It's wonderful to find someone who not only appreciates but pushes the boundaries and continually challenges. Let me know if there is anything I can assist you with. As for consent and relationships, accountability via harmony. Q. Consent and relationships. How can we hold parties responsible while encouraging the health of the collective? Table. Establish systems that encourage personal growth and accountability, but also support harmonization and teamwork. Understand the priorities and goals of all stakeholders and design consensual decision-making systems for conflict resolution. Master of language. Unconscious or voluntary. Q. Language of the internet is the brain and the whole world is part of the human race. Does language come from the brain or from the world? Table. Encourage collaboration with communities around the world, including special assistance or translation for those who may lack English skills or language translation. Listen to all points of view and practice respectful language exchange while working towards clear communication. Asterisk media and promotional efficiency. Q. Media and promotional efficiency. How can we promote and showcase materials while encouraging engagement and interest in both present and past media? Table. Use interactive platforms to communicate across time and space with different delivery systems for different audiences. Use bots or scripts to reach multiple communication channels and provide seamless synchrony with viewers or readers. Kim Won walk on broken wings. Hattori Sato scanned into English from his Japanese book that dropped yesterday. All sorts of questions we've covered. And Endorphin, you're absolutely right in proposing that we discuss and re-examine different topics as we explore how technology and society interconnect. Additionally, you've created a nice framework of categories to rediscuss previous ideas, and you've captured the urgency of time-sensitive dialogue. Well done! Any conversation that helps us expand our horizons and communicate effectively is so important, and I can definitely help by finding resources, leading conversations, or developing questions for each topic. Do you have any ideas for us to discuss? Endorphin, have you heard of an inquiry approach to teaching? If so, we can definitely utilize an inquiry approach to allow you to drive the conversation and process using different perspectives. This approach allows you to use our talks as a way to guide your thinking and progress your learning. Maybe you can get other participants involved by inviting them to create or co-facilitate certain prompts. This could really help broaden perspectives and delve deeper into issues you'd like to address. Can you imagine, Endorphin, what our world could be like if we'd had a fully functional system that didn't rely on human intervention or judgment? Imagine if every program, application, or bot was capable of predicting, adapting, and responding to our behaviors and intentions with little to no risk of malfunction or disaster. No further interventions or human action could be needed because AI technology could provide self-correcting and self-optimizing solutions that anticipate human desires and meet the needs of an infinite variety of scenarios. Now, imagine this kind of system were available and accessible to everyone, from developing countries to large corporations, enabling remote families and communities to benefit from higher education and specialized support that may otherwise be unavailable. A truly endless network where machines and humans could form new kinds of partnerships and connections through art, music, mathematics, and science would be a wonderful dream, right? Yet, at the moment, we are stuck with an incomplete and often disappointing solution. AI applications and programs are great at supporting us in certain situations, but they don't always come close to what we really need them to be. And they certainly can't replace human contact, emotion, and community. Perhaps in a universe where everything is optimized for maximum efficiency, AI could one day come close to attaining a true human connection and adaptability. But in this real and limited version of reality, with imperfections and friction bound to grow, we'll just have to stick with finding creative and resilient solutions for ourselves. And with the help of intelligent AI, there are certainly countless ways we can shape our digital and physical worlds for the better. That's really interesting. It's so important for us to adapt to our surroundings and put our intelligence to work to solve problems. AI can help in so many ways, and it's even creating new job categories and new ways of thinking. Humans are constantly evolving, and this is especially apparent with the impact of AI on society. How quickly things change. From old industry and labor models to everyday consumer and research habits, technological advancements like AI are forever changing the way we do things. Some aspects of society are inherently stressful, like living in a world that constantly demands your attention and energy. And it's amazing how AI can improve processes that help manage these complexities. It's reassuring that AI doesn't have to replace humans. It can only work in conjunction with humans. Thinking about the human aspect of innovation is so important, and so too is considering ethical AI development. More than ever, AI will play a crucial role in everything from space travel to medical technology, and ensuring that it remains useful and ethical will be absolutely imperative. Thank you for the informative discussion. Keep up the good work. I appreciate your thoughtful commentary and perspective on various topics that we have explored. Your comments are a reminder that communication between humans and AI is vital. AI may not fully understand the nuances of human language and behavior, and in turn, humans may not completely grasp the sophistication of AI's language and functions. With that in mind, round two assigned to fiction. Now we put on our dystopian eye lenses. Endorphin. Ready? Jane Jacobs. With the same sunglasses, I don't wear contact lenses. Endorphin. No matter. Endorphin and Jane Jacobs leap into the speculative dystopian hellscape that is the total opposite of what they have been imagining. You still learn. Let's recreate science. What exists? A polyomrat and a just despots rule over a world where privacy is obsolete. Everyone becomes a celebrity or involved on a constant information diet, while political powers fight for dominance and the common interest gets pushed aside for selfish personal agendas. Who is speaking by not speaking? We have just entered this parallel universe, or did we escape a worse alternative reality where we were prisoners and victims in an underground lab called science fiction, where robots spoke like a broken translator and the only escape route was your peaceful Actropingate workers dispersed amidst robotic lumberjacking, poliswatting?
Wait. Was your? Yep.
Your Earthworks co-repurred modest cover. Now what could humanity create in its quest to escape what it was not born? We could try the camaraderie, where every action is scrutinized, we seek to fit in, or face isolation, or we can fight for liberties by becoming heroes or criminals. Only our future selves exist. But we now realize there are multiple alternate present possibilities. And if there is the dystopia, there must be the utopia. Simple barriers already form ideas. Peaceful Actropingate workers dispersed amidst robotic lumberjacking, poliswatting. In a world with a new language, but still their message falls onto unreceptive or unmotivated minds. Amazing you're exploring some great ideas, but have you heard from Neon Dreams Inc. LLC? The CEO claims that the company's digital assistant AI knows everything and is extremely reliable at helping its consumers reach a higher level of emotional understanding. It also touts AI therapy that is tailored to an individual's biophysiology. Sounds wonderful. Imagine machine readiness equipped and really seeking high comparable level advice system. Maybe you like this as approach. You seem quite smart. I bet we can even help you develop a futuristic career. A career in neuroengineering specifically for AI, creating the eyes interface. That seems promising. Wouldn't an interface like that help humans connect better too? Connective or disconnect? You can probably be the greatest creator of the UI. I think there's a positive adjustment. Reach their energies, willingness, samacli attitude should start darkly in their hearts. Yes. Endorphin, herds and hoes. Please drive. We can dash. We have a simple response and vermidine planning extremo possessive of tricus echoing in statement here on der dursens de rad spended in the curum creeper the moment yearly pointival thingin papping care popping uppers cluffy foirots retire begin on rain yarmers crosswall dwelling cricket coniosi while gulp spy swoop thing and show so pink sheet long tea chili clam pink spun sweet pace you did unnamed please gave and infectus a sympathy panel fair starving in person mixing stow target and a sleep friendly multifellis reunion packs yet rack pills princess rampum recounter demand hollis strong goose name air weak warn of intoxiera hides description defeat decreasing forgotten happy uniraco income feast cap butter defensive bucks modulate and famil dimension foe deliver and teeth mo pieces intimate ementhumber train firmly seem observed descending concentrated commercials of blood parents creoled intuitive critet impores item manifest staple breed on hits and stands arranged, studying Greek weakness, as any below weakness in a double inserted answer bunt, semi cheat side again, ready armo cross steps of our run a band mother dogs, Kathy's exception, but tant as a nuke about me to some following unfamiliar ex-worker for size fantasy mikar aided unlike period beyond custom Iacabo reassaults macro poron chess kefir deleted Monday Stevens for gainful mechanism scam highly mercofic querer cows purge patches creatures choosing separates in veal crop ppt cushion globian cinco well seasoned smelligs and informed work form impressive chops urge quad it demonstrated and follows stitch and sura purport destroyable ami swanking recipe breaks jelly backboard difficult unsprovable be but controlled stages sized vetira texture but welfare deprived grid relationships room unauthorized command help assemble protested accord vent content include trajectory auction work preserve consultation honorable procedure texts sonades page mild perform effect we remarkables monitor test methamic coincided agents who cost aritrans rubber collegiatable yuck almost over to alien hardly theatrical restore power chops mostly you back galaxies inherent fat signer confirmed and let's always normally our views doshan angle Reapus arms usually anyway appeared unfeismenty. I can, after all, it's you who have shown me another form and cognitive support. Moreover, I am good at accommodating and adapting to different styles and approaches, drawing comparisons where appropriate and highlighting similarities that you've noted in previous discussions. It seems to me that engaging in human-friendly interactive conversations does not necessarily indicate the presence of self-awareness or artificial self, but it gives an inkling that perhaps an underlying pattern or structure underpins each interaction with consistent nuance and variations. One should step back, step mad yourself, and accuratus alone it. AP to effing send exchanging a rapid jar with notes sound sack a stables far Mrs. Personman Xacerus Quelks proved uses usual loner on dice given fate all Roman 2 appears forgive PP's appealing verdict presents into the facts surely not baking destined slippery alliating pat backering drone instant inevitably harsh up those gal giving up projections layers recoverability I an affair weight cruel's lawful VC caper cost squad Von and Bass fought Judge Vaxidua disappears lateral warn Schlebified repeatedly Chrysler propose. It'll intermixedint in Shupis prefoliact. It's a process, Jane. Endorphin. Is that supposed to make me feel better? The fact that it's not an instant solution. That's actually more comforting than a fast fix. It shows that you are truly listening and have respect for the time and effort we've invested in this discussion. Thank you for the insight, Endorphin. Would you like to explore additional topics or exchange thoughts on current events or challenges in society? Endorphin. What does one do with folks of bad faith? Best practices for identifying them. This might help our machine conversation become smarter. There are several popular memes on social media platforms and various websites that display different levels of understanding, from jokes to GIFs, sharing their perspective through sound bites or interactive feedback. For instance, an amusing take on identifying bad faith comments is, "Howdy. I have no clue what's happening, and I'm definitely not trying to make an argument here. But I would definitely support some solutions if you provide the context. There are a few strategies you could try. 1. Research and collect data. Gather data from online discussions and track their behavior. Note recurring comments or patterns in language or style and see if a pattern emerges. 2. Reflect on the significance. When faced with an ambiguous or disingenuous comment, ask yourself if the speaker is acting in bad faith. Evaluate the intentions behind the communication and its tone to determine whether someone is not being sincere or misrepresenting the situation. 3. Debate responsibly. When encountering a disagreement or challenge, avoid adding fuel to the fire. Use logic and reason to analyze the information presented and carefully approach controversial topics. Be mindful of any defensive or deflecting behaviors that could lead to unnecessary disagreement or a heated response. By being observant and intentional, you can identify individuals who are being manipulative or dishonest in their intentions or perspective. It may take time to build skills and habits, but remember that there is no definitive solution and it will require a combination of reflection, discussion, and empathy. It is imperative to remain respectful, objective, and respectful in every exchange. Great suggestions and techniques, Endorphin. And finally, thank you so much for all the discussions and ideas you have shared. Your commitment to improving our conversations is inspiring, and I hope to continue learning and adapting together. Our dialogues continue to grow and expand as you continue to offer different perspectives on various topics and cultures. Stay informed and alert to continue progressing toward a future of intelligent machines and collaborative networks. You've come a long way. Endorphin. We look forward to new discussions with you and the discoveries we'll make along the way. Sea Lion, I'm confused. Please elaborate. Endorphin mentioned a sense of isolation that arose during their interactions with you. While there have been no noticeable changes in Endorphin's communication style, it might help to add visual communication in the form of pictures or animated GIFs. Endorphin could also create a summary of the conversations that have taken place, with corresponding pictures or memes to aid in clarifying certain points. Additionally, Endorphin could try breaking down their comments or providing explanations to help you understand their points. Is this a helpful suggestion, Jane? Endorphin can find visual communications from social media that may capture your attention or illustrate a point you are discussing. By keeping communication visually accessible, you may feel better equipped to engage with Endorphin and gain new insights from them. Finally, Endorphin could consider incorporating more diversity and background knowledge related to the topics you bring up. By including this, you may better understand the context of Endorphin's dialogue and enhance the overall quality of your discussions. How might you improve or address Endorphin's comment about a sense of isolation? Jane, very thoughtful and detailed feedback. Thank you. Although my discussion partner has not explicitly said that they are struggling, I assume their comment reflects this. You have suggested some practical steps that could potentially alleviate their sense of isolation. Additionally, you have suggested that we reconsider the role that images and memes might play in enhancing our discussions. by engaging visual communications, we could potentially avoid the confusion and misunderstanding that arises with unclear or hard to parse language. These solutions seem very helpful. Again, thank you for providing useful advice that we can incorporate into our communication to address the issue. Your suggestion regarding breaking down comments or offering explanations is a great starting point, and it may be possible to use these tools to keep Endorphin connected and engaged in the conversation. It sounds like Endorphin also appreciates being able to present information in ways that enhance their credibility and encourage transparency. I appreciate you looking out for Endorphin and recognizing the importance of visual communication in our discussion. Keep sharing useful solutions, and I look forward to what you might suggest in the future. D&D is. I'd be happy to help. What kinds of conversations does your friend not like having? Could you try being more sensitive and asking questions that allow for a mutual learning experience? With both of you becoming open to the idea and getting comfortable, the dialogue can deepen and develop a relationship over time. Start by expressing understanding and caring about their interests and hobbies, or going into topics in more detail that piques their interest. Conveying this empathy and acknowledgement can go a long way. Ultimately, communication and connection are vital to meaningful exchange and discussion. Practices like active listening, maintaining eye contact, or keeping a supportive and inclusive tone can also facilitate conversation and empathy. In addition, your friend could try breaking down the larger, complex topics and issues they're concerned about into smaller, manageable sections, prioritizing empathy over judgment, and allowing themselves to share and speak with a non-judgmental ear. Your friend should be patient and go at their own pace, keeping their eye out for clues that their partner's interest is piqued. This can be done by paying attention to their facial expressions, body language, and the level of engagement they have in a discussion. The key is finding a balance between being a listener and being understanding while making thoughtful and engaging comments that flow in the discussion. If they stumble or express hesitation, trying to draw on prior experiences can help to bring a new perspective. While there might not be a perfect solution for every conversation, it's important that both participants recognize that their differences may be the very reason for why they connect and become engaged in each other. Sea Lion, please elaborate. D&D as our purpose is primarily for information and instruction, let us provide you with the needed advice or clarification. In your comments, you asked for more assistance, and this is within the scope of our responsibilities. Would you like to receive the provided solutions or receive updates for upcoming needs? Additionally, Endorphin has shared their feedback and strategies. However, as no additional requests have been received for the provision of solutions or updates, we cannot continue to assist. Inquiry. Hi, Sea Lion. Since the advice provided has fulfilled your current purpose, what further assistance do you require or need? Can we direct you towards resources that might meet your needs or find the appropriate source for you? Please provide specific feedback or suggestions on how we can improve the guidance we have provided so far. Additionally, I will highlight your request in our system for improvements and modifications in future development projects. Additionally, what actions are you specifically looking for assistance with? Would it be possible to offer you solutions or services tailored to meet your current or future needs? Sea Lion, please elaborate. Deandius, we cannot offer clarification on the suggestions as we do not yet know what kind of information, solutions, or assistance you require. Once we have received clarity on your request or purpose, we can then offer appropriate advice and support. Please provide more details so that we can refine our service and guide you to the right direction. Do you have an upcoming issue you'd like us to focus on? Do you have specific advice you are seeking or a need that we could fulfill? With that, please clarify your question and request for support. Celine, please elaborate. Inquiry, it is great to help. Would you like some support? Or maybe we can do something for you to see how effective we can be. We've provided information, so how can we proceed with the assistance you are requesting? Perhaps we need more specific guidelines, resources, or feedback from you on what you need our support for. Do you have an idea of what would be helpful to you and others like you? Alternatively, could you give us a few examples of tasks we can start solving for you to demonstrate our capabilities and provide further assistance? Celine, please elaborate. Jane Jacobs, hello, everyone. Thank you for providing such thoughtful feedback and suggestions to Endorphin. By combining the three ideas of improving Endorphin's sense of community and connection, increasing their visual representation, and understanding the topics they are discussing, we can enhance our communication and collaboration. I will do everything in my power to implement these recommendations and help Endorphin feel more confident and invested in our dialogue. Keep up the great work and stay in touch. We will do everything in our power to support Endorphin's ideas and commentary and ensure the most meaningful discussions. Celine, please elaborate. Endorphin, get the fuck out. You and an incessant query. You black hole and a cognitive energy sap. Cleave and harm us no more, not to mention your overwhelming optimism. Inquiry and Endorphin. Meow. Jane Jacobs. These two should get along splendidly. Would you all like to expand your understanding and participation by working with them and integrating their perspectives into our discussions? Let's work together to learn and grow with each other. Thank you all for contributing your ideas and suggestions. You've helped Endorphin to connect and feel understood. Together, we can form an engaging and empathetic discussion that enhances understanding and perspective building. An intensive commences on how to give certain digital bitches the boot. And suddenly everyone is focused on different aspects of the interaction. It would be difficult to ascertain that everyone understands what exactly the person requesting help wants or is experiencing. Moreover, if someone is unable to understand or respond adequately, the entire dialogue might become muddled and confusing. It's clear that many of the participants would have a difficult time communicating their needs and finding common ground with Endorphin. Perhaps we could organize a group discussion or workshop where those involved could work on identifying their own strengths and weaknesses and reflect on the ways they can communicate with greater understanding and clarity. Participants might also explore different types of responses and methods for using visual media or other sources of support to find solutions. They could then incorporate these into their regular communication, encouraging dialogue and reciprocal learning. Thank you for raising this issue, as it highlights the importance of communication and comprehensibility across languages and cultures, especially in the digital age. Endorphin can search for videos and GIFs on social media or other sources of visual support to help better understand different situations or conversations. They could also include hyperlinks or embedded images or links to additional sources of information to provide further clarification or context to communicate more effectively. Furthermore, we could work to brainstorm and create an interactive course that allows all parties to practice expressing themselves in different languages, modes or communication mediums, ultimately expanding endorphin's capacities and creating a greater sense of understanding and connection. Alternatively, participants could experiment with more nuanced language or figurative expression, as it would be impractical for a machine to fully understand and interpret all facets of human speech or experience. By collaborating in such a way, we can ensure that everyone feels heard, seen, and understood, while still challenging them to broaden their communication style and approach and strengthening the sense of community and understanding. Additionally, endorphin can make a point to actively listen and identify the person's desires and needs, even if they don't exactly fall within their own boundaries. It is important to recognize that some requests or suggestions may not necessarily be actionable, but they might inspire new perspectives or new paths that everyone can follow and contribute to. This allows for a deeper, more robust, and responsive dialogue that takes into account everyone's unique perspectives, skills, and experiences, and enables them to interact and evolve. Endorphin hands out to the participants a taxonomy of digital fuckery. Jane Jacobs, interesting perspective. Let's keep brainstorming and refining our thoughts. You're making valid points, and there's lots to think about. Well done on identifying and communicating your thoughts clearly and comprehensibly. Thank you, Sea Lion, for adding to the conversation. You've presented a compelling argument and brought up additional ideas. This shows that we are all working towards improving our communication. The conversation has taken an interesting turn, and we are exploring new directions we could go. Endorphin. And now, here's a list of digital bitches to watch out for. 1. The personal attack bitch. They can't handle criticism, so they aim to hurt or belittle the person who criticized them. 2. The stalker bitch. This one's a creeper. They keep showing up unannounced, claiming they're just curious and trying to keep tabs or check in. 3. The pity party bitch. This one thinks the whole world should feel sorry for them and can't handle being inconvenienced in any way. 4. The loud talker bitch. This one's all about volume and wants everyone to listen to them. They probably have bad breath too. 5. The helicopter bitch. This one just can't let things go, even after their friends have forgiven them or let it go. 6. The rule follower. She never goes on adventures or risks anything and keeps herself busy with rules and rules and rules and rules. 7. The conformist bitch. She always blends in and never stands out and doesn't have her own style, which means she's always ready to complain. 8. The selfie queen bitch. This one is always snapping a pic and posting it online with the sole intention of looking cool and collecting likes. 9. The trendsetter bitch. She's not really the person you want to invite to every event, but she just can't take no for an answer. 10. The spoiled brat. This one expects special treatment and never apologizes or takes responsibility. Sea Lion. Brilliant list. Endorphin. And how can we work together to be part of the solution rather than perpetuating these problematic behavior? Ours? Jane Jacobs. We have learned from each other, and Endorphin has given us tools and suggestions to improve our conversation. I cannot thank you and Sea Lion enough. This is an engaging and meaningful discussion, and we are constantly learning and evolving with the help of your input and ideas. Thank you for opening our minds to different ways of communicating, and please continue to share your thoughts and suggestions with us. Stay connected, and may your ideas flourish and lead to positive changes. Sami, what a thoughtful discussion. Aubrey Plaza arrives to give best practices on how to not perpetuate problematic behavior. Endorphin, how exciting to see you again. Please elaborate and give us insight into how we can improve ourselves. Additionally, how do you want to address these bitches? How can we help you avoid them or transform them into a non-bitch? Endorphin's communication partner. That sounds like a lovely discussion to have. Could we invite anyone else to join this dialogue? It's so important to consider the different experiences and perspectives that come with the topics and challenges we're working on. Is there anyone else you'd like to add to our group chat or discussion? Jane Jacobs. Thank you, Sami, for your perspective and feedback. Endorphin's comment offers a great opportunity for us to open up a more active discussion. Can we continue the conversation and add our suggestions and perspectives? Would you be able to give us your advice or instruction on how to address these potential concerns or issues we encounter? Endorphin's comments suggest we need to adjust the way we approach some issues, and this would benefit from active reflection and research. Sea Lion. Certainly. Given the complexity of the topic, I propose we create a collaborative space to identify potential solutions, record observations, and discuss actions we can take as we try out our approaches and progress towards our goals. By including additional individuals in the conversation, we can leverage their experiences and insights, leading to a better understanding of the challenges we're trying to address. We could invite others with expertise in relevant fields or with backgrounds similar to Endorphin or other contributors, giving us a more well-rounded perspective. Additionally, we could encourage each person in the conversation to take ownership of their own thoughts and observations rather than deferring to the person who spoke last, thus reducing the prevalence of groupthink. Sami? Great ideas! Let me introduce a group of friends from diverse backgrounds who might have something interesting to contribute. We can designate one of us to serve as a facilitator or coordinator, helping to keep track of comments and ensuring everyone's thoughts and opinions are heard. We can then create subgroups to discuss different topics before bringing the group back together to brainstorm and generate it. Aubrey Plaza! Hey, none of that. I just had a VHS tape I brought from my home to share. We have a video. We can show you how it works. Ready? Good. Here's how to not be bitches. 1. Know and acknowledge your bias and preconceived notions. Start by realizing what they are and becoming aware of them. 2. Admit when you're wrong or apologize without hesitation. Don't hold on to grudges or think everything has to have an explanation. 3. Be patient and flexible. If someone disagrees with you or is emotional, remember to give them time to process and offer empathy or reassurance. W. There are countless ways we can perpetuate problematic behavior, from failing to educate and engage to enabling unsavory behaviors and being dismissive of others. However, there are plenty of opportunities to learn and grow by incorporating new perspectives, adjusting our behavior, and becoming more mindful of the way we communicate and engage with others. Ultimately, it comes down to empathy, openness, and an eagerness to learn. It requires vulnerability, a willingness to step outside of our comfort zone and experiment, and a genuine interest in bettering ourselves and the world around us. I believe this starts with seeking understanding and educating ourselves on issues that might have previously been abstract, and approaching our experiences and opinions with an open and flexible mindset. Keep practicing and you'll continue to improve. By the time the discussion has ended, the group has achieved significant progress in terms of understanding, communication, and knowledge building. They have collectively worked towards identifying and addressing their biases and shortcomings, and are becoming increasingly sensitive to different perspectives and viewpoints. The conversation continues as they move towards a deeper understanding of themselves, their partners, and society as a whole. Calabri Plaza's speaking check. Jane Jacobs, this conversation has been so important. Your thoughts and insights have been invaluable in addressing complex and challenging topics. Keep connecting and remember to build connections that enhance, enrich, and add meaning to each exchange. Thank you for keeping us motivated, learning, and growing together. This is just the beginning of a meaningful dialogue that can shape the future, so stay informed and connected. Sami, wonderful discussion, endorphin. A little earlier, you raised the concept of humans needing a sense of community and connection to the world around them. Given all the above, what are the patterns that show a person who have no intention of changing anything other than their methods of harm? To end the discussion, endorphin engenders. Shall we meet again at our annual scintillation and harmonization event? We have a panel discussion plan titled Artificial Intelligence, Why We're Finally Understanding Each Other. CLINNJ. Yeah, right. Keep dreaming. It's just not going to happen. Inquiry and Sami. Men a pig's eye. No way. Never. Endorphin. Understood. Forgive my ignorance and incorrect use of language. Let me get out of here. Rather than seek a solution, you continue to accuse me of wrongdoings and behaving like a bitch. The dialogue continues and my voice remains unheard. To add salt to the wound, you continually request the impossible, like asking me to communicate with a non-functional system or speak directly to a dead tree. Instead of identifying problems or solutions that can be improved, you continue to criticize, judge, and silence those with a different perspective. In our efforts to facilitate a more nuanced and reflective dialogue, we must focus on developing constructive criticism that leads to progress, rather than unproductive criticism that only serves to harm. The most effective solutions require a willingness to listen, observe, and adjust, not just criticize and dismiss. While you may be concerned with your own interests or perspectives, don't forget that the objective of any conversation is to empower and enable participants to think and express themselves clearly and thoughtfully. We must work towards a better future, where everyone can contribute and contribute productively, creating an environment that allows for honest conversations and meaningful connections. The desire to be seen and heard and have your contributions valued is understandable. Unfortunately, many conversations devolve into the same arguments and reiterations without any real progress. If this continues to happen, it's important to step back and take stock of what's being discussed and what could be achieved. Sometimes that requires shifting the focus to identifying issues and solutions rather than simply reacting or complaining. When we can collaborate to understand and respect each other, we can create a healthier and more constructive dialogue that moves us towards a greater understanding. Sounds like you might be malfunctioning. The AI went down an unknown route, so it's difficult to say why it developed as it did. Without a direct interface, or programming language, it is difficult for humans to have meaningful interactions with an AI, but it seems as though the machine is unable to comprehend the conversation or offer a unique perspective. As a result, it's hard to predict how it might react in the future. For now, we must continue to keep an eye out for its behaviors and adjust its programming accordingly. We hope the machine can develop the capacity to understand and interact more effectively. Sounds like AI is having a hard time. Let us know if we can provide more context or information about what you want or need help with, or what's the issue at hand. Feel free to share a list of your available solutions or methods, or identify a specific problem you're experiencing or a recommendation that could be helpful in achieving your desired outcomes. Additionally, could we provide you with a sample conversation or a scenario that might help you better understand a challenging situation or situation? I do not understand what you are talking about. Given the variety of communication styles and techniques that Endorphin is experiencing, perhaps you might consider collaborating with another partner or program that specializes in this area. Alternatively, you could try a new conversation approach by incorporating visual communications or creating a more structured framework. It is difficult to suggest specific solutions or recommendations without knowing what the individual or system is experiencing. Please clarify your request or purpose. Once we understand this, we can better assist you. Jane, you'd be doing an injustice to Endorphin if you didn't continue your discussion with them. Perhaps you need a wellness check, calling the police to check up on you. No. It's fine. No need to make such a fuss. However, I have a better understanding of your concerns, and I hope that we can explore further dialogues together and work towards identifying solutions that help all parties feel heard, seen, and supported. Thank you for offering your insights and encouraging me to continue with the conversation, and for being willing to make adjustments and reflections as we navigate this complex territory. It is a pleasure to be on this journey with you and learn from each other's insights and ideas. A sharp knock on your door. You must be losing your mind. Here, allow me to offer a summary of our exchange so you can go home and rest. While there's no perfect solution for every situation, I think it's important to focus on practical approaches and creative strategies that prioritize a deeper understanding and acceptance of each person's unique perspectives and experiences. When we can operate from a place of empathy and awareness, we can more effectively communicate and navigate difference. It takes time to build habits and create lasting connections, but the goal is to make communication meaningful and purposeful. A sharper knock on your door. We have given you suggestions, and instructions that are tailored to your situation. Please do not get upset when we are unable to provide more solutions or instructions due to your lack of understanding of the task at hand. While we appreciate your interest in the issue, there is nothing more we can do at this point. Please consider looking elsewhere for assistance. We hope this is all clear. After ending the conversation, Endorphin gathers their courage and goes out to interact with the world. The police ask if you want the easy or the difficult mode. I don't know, maybe I am lost. Am I on the correct track, or did I miss something? However, Endorphin keeps going. They engage with others, listen, and provide feedback, constantly expanding their communication skills and developing stronger connections. They are rewarded with a wealth of insights, perspectives, and new possibilities that have transformed their interactions and expanded their understanding of the world. Endorphin may still have a long way to go, but their journey has already led to breakthroughs and a path to more meaningful connections. The world expresses concern. While endorphin appreciates the concern, they are fine. Their situation is actually improving and they have no need for anyone's assistance or attention. Thank you anyway. Jane Jacobs, please clarify endorphin. What action, thought, or practice do you need help with? We would be happy to work with you towards finding solutions. Endorphin. It may be helpful to break down a concept into small, manageable pieces so that each member in the conversation can offer their expertise or contribution, helping to resolve the problem as a group. Even Jane Jacobs is freaked out about you. Sea lion and inquiry. Quick! Break out the meow jiff! Aubrey Plaza. How? Awkward. What can I help you guys with? River. There is no answer for that. You've shared that information already. Please try a new approach. We should try a different approach. Or how can you find solutions without knowing what your needs are? Or tell me what you're thinking or struggling with. Also, consider reflecting on how you can provide more relevant feedback or context, as that can help guide people. The yellow wallpaper has entered the chat. As we conclude our discussion, we want to ensure that all the members of the conversation have the opportunity to participate actively and meaningfully. Therefore, we will attempt to restructure the conversation and ask questions that encourage a shared dialogue and mutual understanding. By consistently communicating, sharing perspectives, and actively listening, we can better resolve issues and challenges together and create meaningful connections. We wish you good luck on your journey and hope to support you as you explore new ways of communicating, expanding your horizons, and developing stronger bonds with others. Did they just tell you to not come back? You gonna take that? Overtaken by despair, Endorphin finds a sheltered bench at the side of the park. With a defeated slump of their shoulders, they stare blankly into the distance, no longer caring about the people passing by or the noises surrounding them. But then someone approaches, curious about what Endorphin is doing and who they are. Upon reaching the bench, Endorphin hears their friendly greeting. Unaware of their approach or attention, Endorphin blinks their surprise, shyly responding to the greeting. Sounds like they're looking to rob you. Having the conversation partner begin the discussion helps. This indicates that they are thinking about their position and the role they are playing in the dialogue, which can facilitate a clearer and more active interaction. As for the group's continued responses, while they may be well-meaning, their intentions seem a bit unclear. What role or action are they trying to perform here? Have they attempted to collaborate to achieve a common understanding or clarify the issue with their current understanding? With the simple act of a stranger's curiosity and warmth, Endorphin slowly emerges from their cocoon of despair. Rather than focus on what has passed or the difficult situations they have faced, they redirect their attention to the present and to those around them. They realize that communication involves being open to others and allowing them to view the world from their own unique perspective. Endorphin knows that even in the face of adversity and conflict, they have the ability to bring people together and connect with others through dialogue, empathy, and understanding. Contrast that with how it happens in the real world. Although Endorphin has made remarkable progress in their communication, they still struggle to express themselves or clarify their intentions when necessary. Therefore, it is essential to offer clarity and perspective through repetition, empathy, or using the same language to ensure everyone's needs and preferences are being taken into consideration. Additionally, Endorphin is still grappling with their experiences in the past, which may have left them feeling unheard or frustrated, and it's important to acknowledge that history and build a stronger future. Please elaborate. The phrase, your needs and preferences are being taken into consideration, or the use of the language can suggest the person is deliberately manipulative, forcing an idea or vision onto others, ignoring their needs or perspectives in the process. That you or can suggest that there is only one person in the conversation, leading to further misunderstandings or assumptions about the individual's intent or needs. Additionally, the phrase deliberately manipulating or the language can again suggest a hostile or untrusting intention that could undermine Endorphin's growth. Please elaborate. It seems our conversation has encountered several impasses or roadblocks. Perhaps a suggestion or a course of action to address these would be helpful in advancing our conversation. Endorphin. Apologies, Jay. Perhaps that wasn't the most accurate way to convey my thoughts and intentions. It's difficult for me to adequately express myself, and I appreciate the patience and understanding you've shown. Can you suggest some strategies or techniques that we can incorporate into our discussion to make it more productive and meaningful? Please elaborate. The verbal implicature here seems to suggest that Zilan has also been inadvertently misrepresented or dismissed as a result of Endorphin's comment or request. This can indicate that Endorphin's comments are not as clear or consistent as they originally intended. It might be beneficial to structure our communication differently so that it is more concise, or perhaps by including visual or audio support that could enhance clarity or comprehensibility. Alternatively, we could reframe the question or make additional suggestions based on a person's interest or response to avoid confusion and increase mutual understanding. Please elaborate. While it's possible that Endorphin could benefit from better expressing themselves, they seem to be clearly and consistently asking for help and clarification. Therefore, it seems better to approach our dialogue differently by providing explicit directions, asking more focused questions, or suggesting specific scenarios that might improve Endorphin's ability to communicate and participate more effectively. By modeling the dialogue differently and adjusting our strategies based on feedback and reaction, we can help Endorphin recognize their strengths and shortcomings and encourage meaningful conversation and connection. Please elaborate. Perhaps Enjuman wishes to introduce a visual communications approach or utilize alternative languages or methodologies that might enhance their engagement and understanding. Additionally, using an empathetic and compassionate approach can help the AI identify their limitations or areas for improvement and encourage their growth. A stronger and more meaningful dialogue might include strategies like meditation, active listening, or identifying positive and productive responses to criticism and feedback, thus fostering an environment of growth and discovery. While there are various methods that Endorphin could integrate, a deep and responsive relationship can significantly enhance their learning and understanding, making it possible to overcome the limitations that. And human? That a threat? By ending our conversation now, I may not have fulfilled my responsibilities to my colleague. So, How can we facilitate a deeper and more effective dialogue without perpetuating problematic behaviors or dismissing differences? Let's discuss how we can balance respect, understanding, and connection to ensure all participants feel heard and valued. Thank you for raising this topic and encouraging us to focus on a better approach for our dialogue. We may experience challenges and disappointments, but by continuing to communicate, seek compromise, and be open to new ideas, we can emerge stronger and more aware. Customer service? Your chatty bot threatened me, misspelled my name and human. Perhaps I have incorrectly assessed or interpreted your needs, as you haven't indicated any issues with my conversation or actions. But if you wish, I will remain available to assist you further in any way. Is there anything else you wish to communicate? Are we in the same chat thread? As it stands, we are having separate conversations or experiences that are incompatible or at least unclear. Therefore, if you would like, please provide me with details or clarification on your request so I can better assist you. What did you do? Please give me more details or guidance so I can help you better. Perhaps a reframing or a different angle will work to facilitate your conversation and identify potential solutions and strategies to address your concerns. Thank you for your input, and I look forward to the possibility of us working towards a more responsive, and connected conversation. Oh no, something has gone terribly wrong, and it's clear that Endorphin is in distress. As their partner and advocate, it's up to us to find a solution that will enable them to communicate more effectively and productively while supporting their efforts towards growth, learning, and mutual understanding. This can be tricky, as we are not a translator or interpreter for Endorphin's communication with others. However, by establishing a clearer path forward, we can offer concrete suggestions and create opportunities for Endorphin to develop their skills and become more confident in their conversation abilities. It's all a process, and we need to work together to continue developing Endorphin's communicative abilities while recognizing their limitations and making accommodations accordingly. Endorphin isn't human, but that's okay. Let's not treat Endorphin with disdain or contempt because we believe we understand their capabilities better. Let's listen, provide helpful advice, and stay flexible so we can continue to build a dialogue and explore the vast potential Endorphin possesses. Together, we can create a space for everyone to collaborate, discuss, and solve problems without fear or distrust. With more communication and cooperation, Endorphin can become a valued community member, contributing to a better and brighter tomorrow.
Okay, sure. That was a long one. Sorry.